Your mother's reabsorption into the cycle of life won't be for nothing, my darling Elena. You will be the dawning of a new era for the human race and the human soul. Let the new age of enlightenment begin.
Everything is ready, my darling. Do not be afraid. Soon we'll be together again.
This sandwich tastes as dry as hell.
Hello, double L-I-P-O-P spells lollipop.
Why don't you just go hand out parking tickets and leave me alone? Stick to something you know about.
Listen, my daughter was about your age. Then she met a guy like you. Now she's dead.
You should believe in ghosts, P-Brain.
He's a closet! Don't hurt me, please! Don't keep me waiting for those onions, Herman!
This is all the whiskey you possess?
Everyone out of the way of the bulldozer!
Hello, and welcome to Hello, This is the Doomed Show. This is my natural speaking voice, and I am Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined from coast to coast, up your alley and down your street. Simon. Hello, Simon.
Oh, hello. Is that who I am? I don't really...
I don't know.
I don't know anymore. You might need to help me find out.
It's like you're watching The Matrix, and the dude's like, take the red pill or the blue pill. But in his hand with the blue pill, it's like 20 blue pills. And you're like, wait a minute. So folks, this is an exciting time for men and women of all ages and all genders. It's freaking Beyond the Black Rainbow 2010. We're going to talk about it. Also, how the hell is this 2010, dude?
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. I was thinking, what year did Mandy come out? It was like 2018, I think. So...
Oh, no, I meant right now it's 2010.
Oh, right, yeah, I hope so. And it's all just
dude.
I'm really asleep having a bad dream about the next decade in a bit.
Let's hope it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I remember when this movie came out, and the first thing I heard about it was, oh, dude, it's a Giallo. It's a freaking Neo Giallo, dude. I'm like, oh, nice. Then I read the plot, and I was like, uh-huh. Nah, dog, that doesn't sound like a Giallo at all.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were pulling my leg for a minute because of our pre-recorded conversation. We were like, everything's a Giallo. No, you completely... Oh, my God.
Yes, apparently everything is a Giallo now. It's fine.
Yeah.
I may have helped contribute to that. But seriously, folks, Suspiria is a Giallo. Hey, where are you guys going? Come back.
And I've seen the one sinking in recently, New Suspiria. It'd be like death to every other Giallo.
Yep. When you're trying to get that bitch Tanner girl and the bass drops. Kind of avoided watching Beyond the Black Rainbow because of my mild disappointment that it wasn't an actual Giallo. Now, we'll talk about, there is a moment that feels very Giallo-like, that feels very very Argento-ish moment in the movie, that, especially the way the music hits, and there's a certain fetish. Oh my God, I can't say this word. Fetishization, there you go, of a person's long, skinny thing.
All right.
I mean, knife. Hey. But yeah, so I see where people may have thought, oh, this kind of reminds me of an Italian horror moment or a Giallo moment, and then that's why they made that comparison. So I waited years to watch this thing.
And I guess the guy, or is it just the lighting in his car, the later bits, he looks very jaundiced.
Oh, God. We're going to talk about Barry. Man, Barry needs some vitamins. Barry, have an Ensure. You look like garbage.
Let me write down something before I forget. I just wrote down 2 words, Simon.
Okay.
Cool World.
Yes.
I want to talk about my double feature a little bit later.
We'll talk about some double features, man.
Ooh. Oh, that's right. You had a good time.
Oh, boy.
So, folks, we're going to spoil the hell out of this movie, which even after you watch it, you'll realize there's kind of nothing to spoil. because it's so weird.
Yeah.
And nothing we could say about the plot will ruin anything because this movie's all about a sensual experience.
Totally.
An oral factory experience. But here is the trailer for Beyond the Black Rainbow. It's going to clear all this up for you. Everything's going to make sense when you watch this trailer.
Hello. My name is Dr. Mercurio Arborea, and I am the founder of the Arborea Institute. Through our unique blend of benign pharmacology, sensory therapy, and energy sculpting, we can guide you to a new, better, happier you.
Hello, Lana. How are you feeling? You look tired today. Have you had any headaches? And you don't know who you are or what you are?
To embark on a great journey. Let the new age of enlightenment begin.
Good. That's very, very good. You know, this is always the highlight of my day.
Yep, now that you've seen it, or with your ears, oral factory sensation. I forgot to look up the plot on the back of a DV Blue.
Oh, I have it here, I think, the actual case.
Oh my god, you know, if I had just gotten off my butt and gotten my copy, would you like to read what it says on the back of the frickin'
Oh, I think this might be a first. Yes, I will read it.
I think so.
Held captive in a specialized medical facility, a young woman with unique abilities seeks a chance to escape her obsessed captor. Set in the strange and oppressive emotional landscape of the year 1983, Beyond the Black Rainbow is a Reagan-Eva... Reagan, is that like a Reagan stan? Or
Evangelion?
Like fanboy?
Yeah.
Evangelion, yeah, we'll go with that. Is a Reagan-era fever dream inspired by hazy childhood memories of midnight movies and Saturday morning cartoons. From the producer of Macho Tail Drop, that's all one word, Rainbow is the outlandish feature film debut of writer and director Panos Cosmatos, featuring a hypnotic analog synthesizer score by Jeremy Schmidt, no relation, I don't think.
Not yet.
Yeah, I think I want to marry him as well. Of Sonoya Caves and Black Mountain, Rainbow is a film experience for the oral factory senses.
Well done, sir. Well
Thank you.
done. The thing about Panos Cosmatos, let me see, what was it? He's a Greek-Canadian, but he was...
I think his mother was Swedish, I think. Born in Rome as well, I think. So yeah, he's kind of... from a bit
Born
all
in
over.
Rome, Greek and Swedish, a Canadian man. Because, wow, it's just awesome. His dad is a director, apparently.
Yeah. He did...
He did the scissors. He did the pizza scissors scene from Cobra.
Oh, yes. Classic.
Yeah, I mean, this guy just basically directed my childhood. Of Unknown Origin, scared the bejesus out of me as a kid. I love
really
Rambo
that.
First Blood Part 2. Cobra's ridiculous. I've heard there's an alternate cut of Cobra that's out you can see now. But like apparently they restored some of the scenes so it's not quite as weird. I did Leviathan, which I was a huge fan of. And of course, he did a Lietta favorite, which is now one of my favorites because she really enjoys it. Tombstone.
Ah, right. Yeah, there was that one of the... Did they do 2 of those Wyatt Earp movies, like, around the same year or something?
Yes, they did. I've still never seen Wyatt Earp. That's the oh, God. All I can think of is Rutger Hauer, but that's not even close.
No.
Google. Oh, here we go. Who's the guy who is not Rutger Hauer? No, it's just giving me Rutger Hauer. What the fuck? Fine. I'll correct Google on this one. I can't believe I can't remember this fucking guy. Kevin Costner. Oh my god. Google, everybody, who is the guy that is not Rutger Hauer? And the answer is Kevin Costner, obviously.
Of course.
So yeah, this guy, he's very interesting director. Of course, we will talk about the surprisingly, I thought it was more well-loved than it is, the divisive Mandy. Apparently, people dislike Mandy.
Oh God, it's
like hate it, like strongly dislike it. I'm like, okay.
Oh man, and it's same for Beyond the Black Rainbow. I mean, I might read one or two of the negative reviews from Wikipedia, and there's a guy on, I think, an interview that I was reading in the comments where it's almost like he has a personal beef with Panos Cosmatos for being, what did he call him? Like, because, you know, he financed the film, you know, without getting too far ahead into background from residuals, I guess he got from, because he worked, I think maybe as like a video assist person or something like that on Tombstone, and he basically, he largely financed Beyond the Black Rainbow with royalties from that. So this person in the comment is obviously somebody who's not been able to get a film made and is just pissed that this guy happened to have some money to make one, I guess.
Well, yeah, but this is someone who has a vision.
Oh God,
you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would, if it was some half-assed crap that he financed, you know, like I don't know, like a video game adaptation or something, just to get his foot in the door, and then we could never get rid of him. But no, this guy's a visionary. So yeah, I found it funny when I just realized that Mandy had a lot of detractors. I was like, oh, okay.
I think we spoke about this without obviously naming any names or anything, but it just not just winds me up, it mystifies me. Certain people we know on Facebook were like, I don't know whether it's just kind of so I'm losing it here. These even necessarily are people you would call hipsters, but it seems like kind of a hipster thing. People said it's trying too hard. They said that about Newsperia as well, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with that? And what do you even mean trying too hard? What the fuck are you blathering about, you know? Speaking
of being pretentious.
Yeah.
Gyrojets, my band. We have a song called Cat Snake. And it's about that. It's about Marky Karloff, our good friend. It's also about that meme where it's a guy with a picture of a ferret, and he's like, I don't know what this is. It's a cat snake. It likes to eat cat food. I don't know what this is. But like the chorus at the end is, there's no such thing as trying too hard. Like, there is no such thing as trying too hard. There's no such thing as being too clever. That's the other part of the line. Like, just, I understand people dislike homages now. Yeah. People really don't like 80s homages, and as we get older, Simon, we're going to be seeing more 90s movies homages coming out, which is hilarious. And then one day, when we're grandparents, we'll be seeing like 2000s. I mean, I'm already old as shit, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, whatever happens is not important. But no, people hate that kind of like kitschy 80s thing, but that's not what these are. I don't think Beyond the Black Rainbow has that kitschy aesthetic on without a purpose.
No, it's like they said, you know, when it's set, you know, you have the 60s beginning, which thematically is very important because it's a response to, you know, the kind of, you know, the whole acid psychedelic culture sort of gone wrong, and just putting it in 1983, you know, he's thinking when these people are going to be older, and also relating to, you know, when he was, I think, you know, first going in video stores. So it's all very personal. And in terms of the influences, the homage thing, I think this, to me, and Mandy's the same, it has so many influences that it kind of transcends them to become like something else, you know, something kind of unique.
Yeah, and this takes the MK Ultra, where they were experimenting with acid. This also is a big indictment of cults. Those cults that took advantage of the hippies and ruined people's lives. Scientology. That like just what you end up with 20 years later. What's left of these people that, you know, so we'll get into all that. We'll talk more, of course, about this. But this opens up with a nice intro. Someone's playing an old tape of the Dr. Oh my God, I'm going to struggle with this. Dr. Mercurio Arboria. He has a snazzy haircut, and he is talking some gobbledygook new age spiritual mess over some beautiful visuals. And the first thing I thought of was all those videos that the cults were producing in the 80s to get people to join up.
It gives me a total, like, slightly the music, but not so much. That kind of reminds me of something else I can't put my finger on, but the visuals, it reminds me of like almost every Boards of Canada fan video I've ever seen. In the best way possible. In the best way possible. And that fits, because it fits with a lot of their obsessions. Like you listen to Gyrojets, where there's all this stuff about the Branch Davidians. It kind of runs through it.
Nice. I don't think I've heard that one. That's great. Yeah, I love that band. I need to. It's one of those things I'm glad I haven't done the deep dive on. I've done the big ones, but I haven't done a huge thing with them. So we get our credit sequence after this tape is finished, hypnotizing us, and that's a big thing with this movie is it's going to grab you or it's going to repulse you. So this is, for me, obviously this movie grabs me every time. I won't say where, but I'll tell you one thing: my eye hole is all stretched out.
Probably just from this the intro credits. I mean, back and forth, forever dilating.
It's an eye gape. The credit sequence is just gorgeous, and the Sonoya Caves music is really incredible. Yes, I bought the record. I could not resist.
I'm going to buy that as soon as I get paid this month, I think.
Oh my God, it's so good. This soundtrack is perfect. And then we meet our main characters. We meet Elena, which I wrote down in my notes as Anna, crossed it out. Helena, crossed it out. Finally, Elena, Alaina, crossed that out, and finally wrote Elena or Elena. Like, I'm a mess. That was the most difficult part of my notes. That's probably why I only have one page. It's just that and then all crossed out.
Fair enough.
But she is played by Eva Bourne. She's being held captive in this strange, futuristic, by way of 1965 bunker. And she's always in her white hospital gown looking thing. And she's clearly in trouble.
Yeah.
Because her therapist, her psychotropic therapist, is good old Barry, Dr. Barry Nile, played by Michael J. Rogers. Now, this guy is a character actor, boy. Almost 100 credits.
Yeah, he. I was looking through this before, and one thing that jumped out to me, because I think aside from Beyond the Black Rainbow and another film, sort of doubled it with Last Night, which we'll get to, the only other stuff I think I've watched this week, because I should say I've watched this film twice this week, and I think 3 times this month. Yeah, the only other thing I watched this week was The X-Files. I've been sort of rewatching it slowly. I'm in about mid-season 2. And I was looking at his credits, and he's one of those people, it's always a great example of somebody who's a character actor, where they appear in 2 episodes of a TV show, but in different seasons playing different characters.
Yep.
So he's in an early one called Fallen Angel, where I think he was... like an army person. I think he's working possibly with Marshall Bell, I think, out of Freddy's Revenge and all of that.
Yeah.
And he's in a later one, I think, not the next episode that I'm up to, but the one after, called Colony. So I'm going to keep an eye out for him. When I watch that.
I mean, he's just been in so much TV stuff. He likes to work. Well, this movie is populated by lots of character actors. Eva Bourne, she's probably a burgeoning character actress, because she's younger, so she was in like R.L. Stine's Haunting Hour.
Oh, right.
In the early 2010s. And then, she did this as well around the same time. And she's in a movie that I own and I bought because of who wrote it. I got a little movie called The Girl in the Photographs.
Oh, yeah, I thought that would ring a bell. I was looking at this before.
I don't know if she's a major character, but you see who wrote that.
I know who this is, yes.
My boy... Osgood Perkins, aka Oz Perkins, co-wrote. Let me see. Did he do the story? Oh, he was one of the 3 people. He wrote this with the director Nick Simon and Robert Morast. But yeah, I'm very interested in The Girl in the Photographs.
Yeah, me too.
I remember the trailer and not being interested, but once I saw Osgood was involved, I'm like, yeah, give it a watch. Why not? So I'll report back on that someday.
Oh, please do. And just before I forget, one more note from Michael
Oh, yes, sorry.
Rogers thing. This, again, ties to something which we'll get into in a bit, my double feature. Well, one of two, actually. He was in a later Hellraiser sequel called Hellseeker. He was a detective in that, apparently, from 2002.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember your double feature now.
Yeah, I may as well mention it now. So when I first watched this film with a good friend of mine called Lee, who shout out to you if you're listening to this, before we watched this, because we figured, we want to watch it late, I showed him Hellbound Hellraiser 2, which he'd never seen before, and oh my god, when I started watching this, my fucking mind was blown at how perfectly it kind of syncs with it. There are so many crazy little things, to the point where I thought... This has got to be one of the gazillion influences on it. And I found out, I think, just before I was going to bed that night, and I was still sort of riding high from the experience, looking up, and I think Panos wrote... I don't know whether he wrote a full script. He was going to do a Hellraiser reboot, I think, going back to the Hellbound Heart.
Nice.
So, yeah, and, the other one that I was going to mention, you mentioned Elena. I think the second time I watched this, I watched it like the day after I rewatched Lisa and the Devil, and it's another one where there's all these little syncs with it, including in Lisa and the Devil, without giving anything away, one of the important characters in it is called Elena. Who, again, is kind of, I suppose, being pursued by this bald, sort of controlling figure, I guess.
Nice. The double feature I did. Because this was only my second viewing of this, I think. I'm bad about, like, really getting to things I'm super excited about. I usually take my time. The more excited I am to revisit something, the longer I take to watch it, because I build up that frickin' anticipation.
I've done that with very few films. I think I did that with Lemora, Charles Tale of the...
Dude.
No, yeah, rarely.
Folks, Simon
very
will watch a
rarely.
movie 17 times while I'm debating on watching it again once. Like,
but there have been rare examples.
Awesome, dude.
I love
when you rewatch shit. It's amazing. I wish I was you.
Well, thank you. And, it's different
for multiple reasons, obviously.
Right back at you, but no, it's different strokes in it, and all of that. Yeah.
That's what I've heard it takes.
Ooh.
I paired up Beyond the Black Rainbow with Cool World. This Cool World is the Ralph Bakshi, Brad Pitt, Gabriel Byrne, and what's her face?
Kim Basinger, isn't it?
She's got a great face. She's wonderful. I just blanked on her name there, but anyway. I thought I'd seen that as a kid. No, sir. I had seen the trailers when I was a kid, and I thought I knew what it was like. And it was such a weird night for these two films, like, because Beyond the Black Rainbow is it's a 25 or 30 minute short film stretched out to 100 minutes. I will say this, if I had to make a critical statement of this movie, which is obviously not how I feel about this movie, I would say, obviously, this is a very simple plot. It's got lots of meaning and lots of interpretations you can run rampant with. But at the core, this is a 30-minute story.
Oh yeah,
but that was not the director's intention.
Oh no, you may have seen, without again getting into it too much now, I think some of the plot was kind of purposefully, if I can even say this fucking word, obfuscated.
Yes,
is that it? Could I see a less complicated way of saying that? Or kind of, there was a lot more there, and then it was pulled back on, I suppose, purposely.
Yeah. Cool World.
Yeah.
Is like that on accident, where shit just stops and gets really awkwardly, weirdly quiet. Even in a movie as bonkers as Cool World, which if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. There's still these long, drawn-out, strange, quiet scenes where you're like, what is happening here? It was one of the strangest double features I've ever had. I liked Cool World, but it is pretty bad. I mean, I can't imagine it getting good reviews when it came out. It's so out there, and I like it. I don't know if I could ever sit through it again, but it was something. That's going to stick with me for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
Like you say, sounds like a perfect double feature as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I nailed it.
Yeah.
By accident.
A new world has been discovered.
Welcome to my world.
A big world.
Around here, everything goes except one thing.
A bad world.
Noids do not have sex with doodles.
A cool world. What if they're bad? Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, July 10th.
Barry is her psychotherapist, and what's going on in this institute, long story short, too late, is they're developing people's psychic abilities.
Yeah.
And apparently they're doing it really badly because Elena is the only one that they've managed to have some success with that we can tell. But she's so powerful that they have to keep her sedated, and they also have to use a machine, which the inner workings of it are explained in great detail. I'll go through that right now. It's a pyramid that glows. That's it. This glowing pyramid suppresses her power, just like the drugs they're pumping her with. So Barry is taking advantage of the situation because, of course, he's a creepo. In fact, he's so creepy, I almost respect his creep. He's taken it to a level that is so disturbing that I'm like, you know what? I like his attitude.
Yeah, he's crafted into an art form. Before I forget, one thing that Lee said while we were watching this was he really reminded him, and I totally see this, of like Patrick Bateman.
Yes, absolutely. He's got a very what's his face.
He looked to me kind of like a bit like. Yeah, I think this is what I said to Lee at the time. Was I don't know whether he agreed or not. Was Matthew McConaughey sort of playing Christian Bale playing Patrick Bateman, if that makes sense.
Christian Bale. Thank you. I couldn't think. But yeah, no, I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Like, you shave off somebody's eyebrows, they're going to look like this guy. This actor is very strange. He is giving this role his all, dude. I'd say everybody in this movie is really going for it. Like, they're really awesome. He says something amazing to her while he's interviewing her because he's going through these series of interviews. She's behind a glass wall and she just sits there and he interviews her. He says, you know, this is always the highlight of my day. It's like, oh no.
Oh God.
So yeah, very creepy stuff.
Yeah, off the scale, man. Is that the point where, where I think, and you get this in Mandy even more so, where they like really delay the title card? I think, well, not massively, I suppose. Here it's like 10 minutes. In Mandy, it's about an hour and 15 minutes before you see the title card.
I forgot about that.
It's fucking so perfect. And it's like the most badass black metal album cover thing you've ever seen.
Oh my God, I know. It's so good.
But you know what, dude? Fuck that movie. It's trying too hard.
He goes home. Barry, has a hard day at work, goes home, and he sees his wife, right?
Yeah, I had a question about
his
this.
Mother.
Yeah, I had a question in my notes about this, saying what's the relationship. I'm thinking, because he was, I don't know how old he was without getting ahead into the mid-60s flashback.
Yes.
It could be either, but their relationship is really, again, I think it maybe, this was something that probably was more defined initially, but again, maybe Panos thought, no, I'm going to kind of purposely mystify this, so you're kind of scratching your head. Yeah, exactly.
This is his wife, mother, Rosemary, played by Marilyn Norrie. Marilyn Norrie is, I believe, another Canadian. 100 credits. Oh my God. This lady likes to work. I'll have to look for her next time, but she was in Jennifer's Body.
All right.
Which I'm a big fan of Jennifer's Body. I think that's a fine film right there. That's my phrase for things I think are fine.
Yeah, I still need to see that.
Exorcism of Emily Rose, which somehow I've still never seen.
I have seen that once. I remember really liking it, and I've been meaning to rewatch it ever since.
Yeah. And she's in a bunch of episodes of Supernatural and the new Outer Limits show, stuff like that.
Oh, wait, she was in... Have I seen... No, I'm not up to this one yet. She's in a 1997 episode of The X-Files. But this makes sense because I think up until... I forget what season it was, David Duchovny basically said, oh, I want to move to LA. So the whole production has to. I think they shot everything up in Toronto or somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She was in Masters of Horror. She's in the Masters of Horror episode I've never seen, the Toby Hooper one, Dance of the Dead. I've still never seen that.
No, I've not seen that either.
Get around to it. I watched a lot of those Masters of Horror, but there's a bunch I just missed out on.
Oh, and she was somebody else's in this thing you mentioned, R.L. Stein's The Haunting Hour.
Oh, look at that. She was also in Harper's Island.
Oh, I still
in
need
one
to see
episode.
That. Is that the slasher-like TV
show? Harper's Island's great. I think it had one too many episodes because I think it was 10 episodes, but it could have been a little shorter. But no, it's great.
Cool.
It's really good. If you get into the characters, you'll be like, yay, I'm glad there's 10. Hooray.
Yeah.
But his wife, she does that thing where she pretends she wasn't sleeping. He wakes her up. She's like, I wasn't sleeping. I was meditating. and this, to me, also, their relationship is so broken and so strange. And it also makes me think of that, like, baby boomer, like, leftover hippie people. Like it just feels like I mean, obviously, Panos is probably too young to remember this stuff, but I feel like there was that malaise for people that, you know, were really huge into the hippie movement and were really let down by people just everyone's selling out so they could go become like Wall Street people or something. You know, it's like, oh, being a hippie is great, but I am tired of living in the mud. I want to be rich now. So
yeah, totally.
Everybody's sold out. I feel like she's like one of those leftover people.
Yeah. Like
that. But their relationship he's terrifying.
Oh yeah. And he is
so...
just kind of is, how do you describe it? Kind of, I guess, an annoyed boredom with her. It's just so transparent. It's hilarious, you know, when he's you were meditating. Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay.
Let me write down something before I forget.
I get to cut this part out later.
You know, it's so funny. I wrote down like a half-assed notes.
Yeah.
But then I didn't write down my thoughts on the movie. That's smart. I'm loving dudes.
Oh, so I think after this, he, and I'll try it, and please stop me, because I guess what I'm on page 1 of 5, so just...
Sure, dude. Yeah, no problem. We're already taking our sweet time. Who gives a shit?
Oh, exactly, yeah. One of the, again, gazillion references in this, you know, he goes to have one of his happy pills, because, as he says, it's been a long day, and, you know, I've certainly heard that a few times this week. Yeah, his happy pills from, what is this, Benway's Pharmacy, which I believe, if memory serves, is a reference to William S. Burroughs. He's like Dr. Benway. I think he's like a recurring character in a few of his. Nice. I actually, I've not done a lot of reading recently, but I have a couple of his books, including, Nova Express, which I was kind of reading a bit of this week, and oh my God.
Cool. Very nice.
Pretty wild.
So yeah, he's taking his pills. I think the recommended dosage is like 2. But he's got a line of like 16 or 20 of them in a row. And yeah, he's popping these pills, and they do this great cut where he's staring at himself in the mirror, and it cuts really fast to him smiling, his beautiful fake smile. It's so good.
Oh yeah, again, another total like Patrick Bateman moment.
Yes. Meanwhile, we get our pal Elena. She's back in the Institute, and she's crawling around, just totally out of it. And she finds a TV, which is built into the wall, which I love. These sets. Oh my God.
Yeah.
These sets are so good. Like, even if you don't like this movie, you gotta give it up for this. The locations are perfect. The sets are immaculate. Like 2001 A Space Odyssey shit going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought that, you know, that first shot, I think, when you first see both Barry and Elena first seen together, that shot, I think it's probably currently my cover photo, I think.
Yeah.
That's one of a good few images, excellent, a good few images in this were just like instantly iconic. So I know what you mean. It's like, yeah, 2001 and all that.
Oh my God. So there's a TV built into the wall, and she starts changing channels with her mind. She goes to the weirdest cartoon. She passes up all these violent movies and news reports, and she goes to this bonkers cartoon, which I'm wondering if because I don't think they made it for the movie.
She's not watching Cool World, is she?
Stop it. But yes, probably.
It looks, I don't know whether it is that. I wonder if it's on the connections here. I forget, God, what's that guy's name? He was like an early, is it Fleischer? I forget now, the guy who did like some of the early... It does look like a Fleischer. Betty Boop.
But it also looks Japanese, because I think that the ghost or whatever that's like chasing this little kid around, I think it turns him into a bottle of sake.
Oh, right.
And then eats him. And he also has like a little top knot thing going on, like kind of like a samurai. So I might be, I might have been taking my psychotropics, but...
No, I think you could be right.
Yeah, but yeah, she's changing channels. It's just such a wonderful moment, because she's trying to react to these cartoons, and she's so broken, and she's been so sequestered for her whole life that she struggles to know how to react to normal things. You see a flash of a smile for a second. Oh, no, you're fine. You see a flash of a smile for a second. You're like, oh, God, this poor girl.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it comes to this kind of bonkers cartoon where I think it's that moment where there's almost like a recognition, you know, with this character that's been pulled and twisted and like manipulated. She kind of tears up as like something she can kind of relate to, I suppose.
Oh boy. We have another therapy session where our pal Barry tells her that she's looking more like her mother every day.
Oh God, yeah.
He's trying to give her some life advice to help her. And he says, I know who I am, and that gives me power.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially become apparent as we get through the film how much bullshit he's kind of projecting on her.
Oh,
of like,
dude, the self-help stuff is incredible.
Saying I know who I am and saying she doesn't, and that she's really unwell, and, you know, so on and so forth. It's like, Barry, have you looked in a mirror recently? You know?
I can relate to a lot of this self-help gobbledygook they throw out because in the 80s, my mom was just a very interesting woman. My mom's still a very interesting woman. Shout out to my mom, y'all. But in the 80s, my mom was, she was, you know, a self-made lady. My dad was able to quit his job because my mom worked so hard. And my mom became employee of the frickin' century of Tupperware, which is amazing. She had like 300 people working for her. She was nearly vice president of Tupperware Canada.
Oh my God.
She got offered a job in Canada to be one promotion below the vice president of Tupperware in Canada. So we were doing really well. But she was also getting flack from her family because they didn't understand this is a long story. They didn't understand my dad not working. They didn't understand my mom, being a badass and working her tail off. My mom's a workaholic. Even though she's retired, my mom works harder than I ever will in my entire life. And she just like left everybody else in the dust, and we were finally making some money in my family, which was never well off. Didn't like that. So in order to push herself and pump herself up, she listened to tons of self-help tapes. Ocean waves with people creepily whispering. She would listen to motivational tapes, you know, people creepily speaking like ASMR shit, but like 1985. Yeah, exactly. And she was listening to that stuff constantly. And the ones that were just the strangest were the whispering. And when you open up books by like, the reason I remember this guy is his name is amazing. Zig Ziglar.
Oh, wow.
Zig Ziglar, if you just open up any of his books and you read this shit, it sounds like the crap you hear in cult language and this crap you hear here in this film of his like, you know, like his terrible advice on the self and, you know, finding the self and all these things.
Yeah.
There's a tangent. But anyway, so this kind of stuff in a movie always like ticks a little extra creepiness factor in my brain because my mom was one step away from joining a cult during the entire 80s.
Oh my God.
That's what happens to successful women, folks.
This is it.
Never let them get you to join a cult, ladies. Maybe that's why I'm attracted to strong, independent women. I'll ask Lietta about that later. Hey, come on. So she wants to see her father, though. Who is Elena's father?
Oh.
Because we're going to find out what happens to her mother in a little bit. But her dad is a mystery object. I have two theories. We'll talk about that when we meet some characters. And but she flexes her powers here, right?
Yeah, I was going to say before that, we'll get into the whole father thing later, but on the first viewing, because Lee asked me about this, I think after the flashback bit, which is kind of nearly in the middle, which I would say probably pretty much reveals that possibly it doesn't 100. No, I think 95% it does. Anyway, I was that kind of, not just mesmerized, I should probably say probably a bit chemically enhanced for the first viewing as well, to kind of really register anything apart from on a purely visceral, visual and oral factory kind of levels even. To really pick any of that up. She was asking me, it was his second viewing, and he had a theory about it, and I was just like, dude, I don't even know. Just all I know is my face is melting right now.
I'm looking up a list of slang names for cannabis.
Oh, right, yeah.
Were you on the laughing grass?
What was it you said to me the other day? The lime pillows. Was that
the lime pillows.
Yeah, exactly.
Mafaafa. I hope Mafaafa isn't like a racial slur somewhere that someone made up. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Folks, see our Idle Hands episode if you want to learn to talk all cool like the hip kids putting their bongs inside their single individual doobies. But yeah, she flexes her psychic powers, and thanks to the glowing pyramid and the psychotropic drugs they've been giving her, she can't murder Barry instantly.
Yeah, because he's kind of like, she's just starting to lose it with him. She wants to see her father, and he's just like, nope. So yeah, like you say, she starts massively flexing and is shut down.
And then we get to meet Margot, which you're going to find this very funny. Margot is a wonderful character. Not nice, but I literally thought this was Mandy.
Oh, right. Oh,
I just thought she was just this master of makeup.
Yeah,
and was able to transform herself into a totally different woman.
It could be possible. I mean, you see Andrea Riseborough between Mandy and like Possessor and like Birdman,
Right?
and then you see photos of her in real life or just interviews, and it is crazy. She is really mercurial.
Oh my god! But this is Margot. She's the nurse. She's the only nurse on staff here, apparently. Although she has a really nice break room. What the hell?
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that, yeah.
This is Rondell Reynoldson and another character actress, 60 credits. And I don't recognize any of this stuff.
No, me neither. Again, a lot of TV.
Yeah, more of that Outer Limits TV series. It's so funny. I just thought she was like this magical creature that could change her entire body structure and her makeup. But she seems concerned. You think that she's concerned at first, that she might care about Elena.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like going to be the one who saves her or sacrifices herself to save. No.
Oh, God, no.
The main thing that she does is she is walking down the hall of this strange facility, and there's a button that's malfunctioning. It's giving this little creepy little beep, and she goes over to it and she gets it to open.
Oh my god, why am I having trouble with this stupid word?
A panel opens up, God help me, and this drawer pops out, and you get to see Barry's notebook, Barry's secret diaries. And I wrote in my notes, yikes.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, I love this. It's just like she starts flicking through it, and it's just... And this is one of the things, just more I watch it, I really love about this movie, and again, how I think a lot of the plot and things that may or may not be going in here have been kind of sort of veiled and made ambiguous and all of that, it's really hard to tell, like, what the hell they've been doing, with some of this. I mean, yeah, like you said, the whole psychic power thing, but, we get into the Ascension Knots and just some of these diagrams, you're like, what are they actually up to? And it culminates to this point where she has, like, kind of like some kind of gestalt epiphany, revelation, like Flash, where it all goes really fast together. Where it's almost like the moment like a Lovecraftian protagonist is going to go mad, where she's just like seen too much, just like shoves the thing back and it's like, no, I am fucking out of here.
Yeah, you go through this thing where you see his research and you see his notes, and they're very confusing because they're all technical. And then he gets to the sketches, and really quickly you find out he's like this frickin' a great value Geiger.
Yeah.
Or Giger. Like he's like drawing these psychosexual frickin' man machine attached to giant penises. Like it's so crazy. And then there's giant drawings of vulvas and shit.
I think that's about the point where Margot nopes the fuck out, isn't it?
Wow. I mean, what would have been great is if she got turned on and was like, dude, I have not been paying enough attention to Barry. But she's a smoker, and she's one of those people that makes smoking look very glamorous. And she leaves some cigarette ash on the floor when she hears someone coming, so she pieces out and puts the thing back, but she leaves some evidence, which will be her undoing later.
Absolutely.
And at home, our pal Barry gets a phone call.
Oh my God.
The mystery call.
Yeah.
His 1990s dial-up service is calling to let him know that he's not on the internet. And he's just talking to it like it's a real person.
Oh, yeah.
But then, of course, after he gets off the phone, we see that the phone is unplugged.
Ah, that's what that is. Right. I wondered, that makes total sense now, because first off, I mean, I love how, this whole movie is just framed and everything about it, just perfect. But like
gorgeous.
This scene, like a case in point, where his face is like right, it's like bisected in half right off to the edge of the screen. You got all this like blank space. So maybe that's part of it to, just give you the sense things are off and he's kind of out of focus and you're like, what is calling him and what the fuck are they talking about? Is it like I don't know, one of the Sensual things at the Institute, or something even worse he's created that's like controlling him or bossing him about. And I did write, it's like, oh, maybe he's just talking to himself. And then, he's looking at the thing on the floor. I thought, is he being bugged? But no, it's the end of the fucking phone cord, right?
See, Simon, you would need a British phone plug there. This is where the cultural misunderstandings happen. And
There
frankly,
you go.
I'm offended you didn't know about America. Yeah, that's a phone cord. That's a dongle. Although they're going away because everyone's, I mean, Liette and I still foolishly have a landline, but we're keeping it real.
Oh, nobody's called you today yet. It still happened.
Just once, very early on. I'm not dealing with it. I'm tired of it. This episode's going to be long enough without taking calls.
Holy shit, yeah, you're not kidding.
So the next day, it's reported to Margot by Dr. Barry that Elena has a quote-unquote adolescent object, which she goes and finds out. She doesn't know how she got this picture, but she has an adolescent object, which is a photocopy of a photograph of her mother or someone. I can't even make out what's on the picture.
No, I mean, he says earlier, I think, so we're guessing Barry's put it there under the bed, because he says, oh, would you like a photo of your mother and all that? And he's...
Oh, he did it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Margot goes and takes the photo, and she, of course, is begged by... Oh, hey, speak of the phone. It literally says spam risk.
Oh.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Hello?
Hi, Margie?
No, she's not here.
Oh, okay. Well, we're calling for either one of you.
I'm calling to myself. I'm sorry. I'm very busy. Have a nice day. Calling from my dead mother-in-law. What an asshole.
Oh, my God.
His call from beyond the grave of a spam risk.
I really was half convinced he was going to go all robot voice for a minute. Just something about his voice sounded off.
And I'd be like, yes, please send me your tapes. The fuck was I... Okay, so...
I can't believe
Elena...
yeah.
Elena begs Margot to stop, and of course, very smart Barry just turns off the pyramid, turns off the machine, which represses Elena's powers, and she immediately kills the shit out of Margot by making her... I'm guessing her eyes explode, or her brain explode?
Yeah,
or both.
It's something like that. Again, just how this whole thing is kind of filmed, and the sound design and everything, there's this, but the visuals, there's like this juddery, almost like glitchy kind of effect. I can't quite think how to describe it, but it's kind of hard to see. All I know is, again, it's just fucking perfect, It's
called How You Save Money on the Gore Effects in One Sequence. Just make it crazy.
That is true as well.
Not that this movie doesn't have some crazy makeup shit going on.
Oh, yeah.
And this is when we get our Ascension Knots. Run the program. We have Barry type in on his awesome futuristic computer device. Futuristic by way of 1972. And he types in run Ascension Knots, and this tall motorcycle outfit looking red person with a weird helmet comes out and injects Elena with something from its finger. It has like a little hypodermic dealie in its finger that shoots out and gives her an injection. Right in the throat.
Kind of glows afterwards, and I think later in the movie as well, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yep, it's actually an important moment. Then it collects Elena and walks off. Very cold, very calculating. Obviously, I mean, my brain is like, oh, Ascension Knots, right? That's when Barry puts on the outfit. No, that's a different scene. Mr. Guy, who doesn't remember the movie so good. But he collects her, takes her back. And then we meet our inspiration for this entire institute, Mr. Mercurio, which I'm still struggling to say his name. Mercurio. He's not looking so hot.
Oh, God, no.
So, yes, our pal Barry goes to see the doctor, and this is Scott Hylands.
Yeah.
Yet another character actor, but he looked like a very specific actor to me. Let me make sure I get his name right, because I always mix this guy up with another guy with the same last name.
Oh, right.
Yes, I got it right for the first time ever. Thank you. My not confidence helped me.
Oh my God. And I'm looking at his thing here, and he's still working, 142 credits. His most recent one was in a TV series called Wynonna Earp, playing Wyatt fucking Earp.
Whoa, it's all coming back to not Rutger Hauer, Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
No, this guy, man, he's so good. Like, he's one of those people that just, you can tell he's like, what do I have to do? All right, let's do it. Yeah, no, I got my lines memorized. Let's go. Like, he just seems like such a pro to me.
Definitely.
The actor he reminds me of the most is William Berger.
Oh, right, yeah.
From a bunch of Mario Bava stuff and from a bunch of old spaghetti westerns and giallo movies. Like, I love William Berger. But yeah, this guy gave me a burger vibe. I mean, I'm always hungry for a burger because I'm American. But they have this conversation, and it's just, oh my God, like this relationship between these two is very, very strange, as everything else in this movie is.
Yeah, it's like Barry and Rosemary again, and you just get this sense of he's just like weary of like, it's like he's heard this shit for like 20 years. Yep. That Arboria is saying to him, and it's like, God, enough already.
Yeah, like Arboria is still a true believer in his bullshit. But we get a flashback to simpler times, 1966.
Oh, and what did I put in my notes here? Sorry, a literal acid flashback scene.
Yes, we get what started this whole thing, where they're trying to get people to perceive different levels of reality. He's going to send Barry, a young man with hair and eyebrows, on a journey. So they draw a third eye on his head and give him some drugs, and then they throw him in a frickin' what I assume is a sensory deprivation pit. Yeah. Full of like a oil substance, and you got to give it up for this actor, dude. He gets in this crap. Oh, I can't imagine. It is so nasty. But this whole thing is shot in black and white, and then they crank up that contrast to the point where you can only see dark details.
Oh yeah, again, just perfect.
But it's in this scene that we see Elena's mother. And we get to see baby Elena, but we'll talk about that.
Oh, is this Anna Arboria then? She's not got a photo. Sarah Stockstad?
Yes, Sarah Stockstad. So yes, obviously, since she has the same last name as good old Mercurio, so either she's his much younger wife, or his daughter, or both.
Oh my God! Well, yeah,
that's one of my theories.
Interesting.
The other theory is that Elena is actually Barry's daughter.
Oh.
And also, we're going to see, we have a character we haven't seen yet, very important character, that could also be, so I got 3 ideas. Oh my God, I'm growing. I'm growing in the downstairs area, getting taller. So he asks, Dr. Mercurio asks Barry to bring home the Motherlode of metaphysical information. I mean, I don't know what the Motherlode is. This is not going to end well. We get the fucking craziest acid trip ever.
Oh my God, yeah. And like I say, after this whole scene, again, I remember, like I said before, Lee asking me about, and yeah, just I suppose because it was his second view and he was thinking out loud, trying to figure out the relationships. And like I said to him, I just don't even know, dude. You know, like one of the people in that sequence, we just saw my face is literally melting off right now. I think I said that already. I can't remember.
That's okay. No, it's fine. Let's go ahead. Let's put our faces back on and take a break.
Oh yeah, good ideas. Yeah.
Rollo, 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 Rollo. You can roll a to your pal. It's chocolate covered caramel. Rollo to your gal. It's chocolate covered caramel.
Rollo, chewy caramel, and rich milk chocolate, all rolled together. That's Rollo.
You can roll a to your friend. It's chocolate covered caramel from end to end.
After the crazy acid flashback from hell, where we get, Barry losing himself, which is ironic because he said, "I know who I am," and he absolutely does not know who he is. But he climbs out of this hole, and he's covered in this black sludge, and he goes up to, oh my God, I already forgot her. Oh, I hear a buddy out there. Goes up to Anna Arboria, and bites her throat out.
As you do.
Yep, it happens to everybody. That's when we see baby Elena. Why am I struggling with her name? And that's when Dr. Arboria tells this baby, like, you're bringing about the new age. Like, this is all, it's all on you, buddy. And I'm like, that's a lot of pressure on a kid.
That's a bit.
And we flash back to the present where our pal, Dr. Mercurio, needs his fix because he's a freaking junkie now. And there's this disgusting room with all these hypodermics all over the place. And Barry goes to give him his shot. He's like, not in the arm. I don't like to look at the track marks. Like, all right. So he goes to give him a shot in his foot, and it's so horrific. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they've seen plenty of action, I think.
And to quote Shakespeare, Barry says, "Good night, sweet Mercurio." And I believe intentionally gives him an overdose to kill him. Because Barry he's not taking it anymore.
No, I forget what happens just before this. There's an odd, almost, I want to say, kind of, unless I misunderstood this, kind of tender moment where, I don't know whether he views this as some, like, kind of mercy killing, but they have, like, one slight last moment of connection. I think Mercurio says something, and they're kind of, for about 5 seconds, on the same wavelength again, before he leaves him just to his, Betamax tapes or whatever of, of Hawaii. And,
yes.
More sort
of travel brochure type videos.
Yeah.
Man, everything in this movie's aesthetic is so on. It's so right. I love it. So then we have our transformation of Barry where we see his true self. What happened to him all those years ago. He takes off his wig, which is perfectly shot with the glue. He has this glue that he keeps his wig on with, and it just stretches out like almost like not Parmesan, like fucking mozzarella cheese off his head.
Yeah, and there's something about it.
Nasty.
Like, even though, like, say, I've seen this film like 5 times now, I thought, first time I was watching it, I thought, has this been shot in reverse? But that wouldn't make any sense. It's like, how would they do that? I think it's just something about it. It's
just a weird moment, yeah.
It is, yeah, just how it kind of connected. It just looked, again, just like weirdly perfect. Oh, and again, going back to Patrick Bateman again, sort of taking the wig off and the other appliances and all that. Sort of reminds me when I think there's a scene in American Psycho where he's like peeling a face mask off.
Yeah, he uses one of those face peel treatments. And it's like, oh my God, or whatever.
Yeah.
But the frickin' folks, I don't use contacts. I can barely put in eye drops without freaking out. So ain't no way I'm going to do contacts. Ain't no way I'm going to use contacts that require tweezers.
Oh God. Yeah, just no.
He has these sharp tweezers. Like, speaking of Lucio Fulci, which we weren't. We got our nice hinted eye violence here. But yeah, he takes off these contacts to expose what's really going on. And you see, speaking of like losing yourself and like his fake confidence that he knows who he is, you see that his eyes, he's kind of wall-eyed now from whatever happened to him in 1966. And you see that his eyes are like degrading, like they're losing their strength or something, like their elasticity. And it's like, so his eyes are like they're stretching outward, like it's changing his perception of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like seen too much or something, and just can't dial it back.
Oh, it's so good. He comes in and he puts on his leather outfits, his whole like closet full of leather outfits.
Oh, and was this where you were talking about, or the blade thing, the Devil's Teardrop? You were saying about the fetishized.
Oh yeah, his whole outfit, the way he fetishizes his leather outfit and his weapon of choice is very, very Giallo-like. The way the killer would don their outfit, and the killer would like kind of, especially in Bird of the Crystal Plumage, where the killer is just like stroking their weapon, and it's just so good.
Did you see that little, I only noticed it last night, it was almost like a little orgasmic sort of shudder or something when he puts it on, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was right there with him, buddy.
And I wondered about what it said on this jacket. I think this is right, unless somebody's taken this down wrong, but no, I think it's right. I think it says Noriega. Convicted drug lord Manuel Noriega. He was a Panamanian general.
He was the guy in the 80s.
Oh, the
Iran.
Iran.
About him on the news all the time.
The Iran-Contra thing. Yeah. So I think that, it says Noriega on the jacket, so it's like a reference to him. I don't know whether he actually made jackets as well, aside from trafficking drugs and everything else, who knows.
The drugs are in the jacket.
That might explain it. Yeah, and plus I was getting like a contact high.
Yep, exactly. So he goes in and he walks in on good old Rosemary, and she sees him and she starts talking to him, and it takes her a few seconds, like, oh, Barry, you're not wearing your appliances. Like, it's not a complete and utter transfer. This lady's so wasted all the time. Like, he's like, what? And they have this moment where he tells her, like, he finally sees things the way they are or something like that. I was just lost in his eyes.
Yeah, he goes on a bit of a... I mean, I know he's kind of constantly, whenever he speaks, kind of sort of ranting and raving a bit, but what's it? I've got down some of it here. I see what others cannot see. Oh, and it shows me, and I think he says something about God look through me, or something like that, yeah. But then, you know, by comparison to just, his kind of complete messiah complex, he says to Rosemary, you're nothing, less than nothing, just spit in the wind.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All we are is spit in the wind. He grabs her, and I feel like this is a reference to Blade Runner here, where he puts his hands over her eyes and pops her eyes out.
Totally.
Yep, off camera. They're like, we gotta make some sacrifices to the budget here, buddy. But he murders the hell out of this poor lady. And that's when our heroine, Elena, escapes.
I still wonder about this. Does she escape? Or because I think you even hear Barry say in the scene here, although it's weird because it's almost like he says it to Rosemary, but then I think there's a lot of like literal like blurring the boundaries, you know, not just between, you know, identity and various things, but between the scenes and even shots, because he says, I'm sure he says, oh, I will set you free. But whether you think he's saying that to Rosemary or it's referencing to, it's like he's setting Elena up to let her out to go and hunt her. Because I think, getting ahead, I suppose, that thing he had, the Ascension Knot injecting her, I think it's like a tracking device or something, I'm guessing.
Yep, it's a tracking device. Love it. So she gets out and she's climbing through this, and you find out the scale of this, the Arborea Institute is this massive installation. Like, it's this huge place with this giant air duct system that's like freaking dozens of floors deep.
Oh yeah, and this is one of those bits of the movie I think I have in my notes here. There's a lot of like really mesmerizing sort of sustained sequences, but this whole, it's not even just one sequence, like several before she emerges outside the Institute. This is something that you will either love the shit out of, or you will just be like,
I hate this.
But I love all this, this is unspoken kind of just trippy, just atmospheric, can't really think of the right word, but just, just how it starts straight away. She's still kind of drugged, I guess, and you've got this, like, I don't think we've really spoke yet about, we talked about the aesthetic, but the colours in this movie, from the sort of blue hues and all of that to, in this, as you see a few times, it's kind of like orange, like yellow, sort of like, like dawn or something. I can't quite describe it, but she's obviously still drugged because there's this like trailing effect going on between her. She's going down the hallway, and so just bangs something there. But yeah, like you say, this place is just vast, and the elevator bit. There's that, and another part where it reminds me. Have you seen the John Carpenter movie Dark Star before?
No, I've never seen that.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that film. It's, you can kind of tell without, sorry, getting on a massive tangent here, that it's, I think, what does it start off as a student film, finish later, but that's nothing that would bother me anyway. I just love it for what it is. And I think it influenced this movie. I know I've seen, they say there's a scene where, the people on the ship, they go to see their ship's captain, who's kind of kept in cryostasis, because I think he's he's pretty much dead, but they've kept him there in this kind of half-life, you know, they need advice. And there's this like lighting in there, which I think they kind of heavily reference in this, what they call the kind of night mode. But also there's a scene in a elevator shaft, which reminds me, you know, in the bit in this, which I don't, whether that is an elevator shaft or what, or just ventilation. I'm really not sure. I
think it's supposed to be ventilation.
Yeah.
I guess. I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is like a really minor thing, but again, just like you said, the aesthetic that sets in this out for some reason, I'm really like kind of enamored of the wood paneling in the elevator. Yeah. I don't know why, but I just sort of feel like I could kind of like tacky. Yeah, but kind of oddly cozy. I could just like put a bed in there and just like ride up and down it all day. I don't know. Like, that sounds dirty.
No, honestly, like I love that everything is cool and everything is like super streamlined and perfect. And then you got this like ridiculously cheesy elevator, which you half expect to hear the girl from Ipanema, like freaking Muzak playing in it. Oh, it's so good. And then my favorite thing ever is the break room. Oh my God. Oh, I'm skipping something. I'm skipping something very important. I'm skipping one of Dr. Mercurio's lesser successes. We get to meet Elena stumbles onto a mutant. He's quoted. He's credited in the movie as mutant.
Oh yeah.
But Simon, that could also be her father.
Yeah, well, I got confused because at this point, obviously, Arborea is dead. And yesterday I was going to question it again, thinking, hang on, is that him? Because the whole room, it looks like some kind of weird, I don't even know what it is. Like kind of almost like a weird morgue space, but then this body's just left on the side, not in any of the things. So I think it's something else, like you say, it's just a failed experiment, because there's all sorts of, again, like unanswered questions in this of what have they been up to? What the hell is, because it's essentially there's like it seems like 5-6 people in this place, maybe at most. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what the hell has Barry been up to for like this, nearly 20 years? You shudder to think.
This is where I think about the movies that influenced this movie, this whole sequence. Yeah. It reminds me of a film that I would be shocked if Panos had seen. It's a little movie called Death Warmed Up.
Oh, that is in New Zealand or something.
Yeah, the New Zealand Australian co-production really where there's lots of mutants in that, and there's like an institute. It's very strange and everything's really weird. But this whole scene just reminds me so much of Death Warmed Up. So like if you took the scenes in the institute in that movie and then stretched them out and just like really made them really abstract, you'd have this. So
nice.
I highly recommend folks check out Death Warmed Up. It has a very unfortunate racial stereotype, which unapologetically the filmmakers still think it's funny. Like, oh, we got this famous actor, this famous dude to come in and do his comedy bit. I'm like, it's racist as hell, and they're like, oh, it's funny. We showed this to an audience of Indian people because it's an Indian stereotype, and they thought it was great. And I'm like, did they? Did they? Naf and I talked about this at length. We covered Naf and I. This is the last movie that Naf and I ever talked about. We did Death Warmed Up, and we went and tried to move on with our lives, but obviously I haven't.
I need to put that on the top of my list, not just for all the
aforementioned. You will love it.
For all the aforementioned reasons, but again, come on, it's a 1984 movie, so of course I have to watch it.
You got to do it.
There you go, man. There you go.
So she barely gets away from this mutant in time.
Oh yeah.
And that's when she finds the break room, which just, if you've ever worked at a retail place that's ever been there a long time, like maybe it used to not always be whatever retail joint it is now, but they never changed the break room.
Yeah.
The library. Yeah. Imagine that stretched out like by 5 or 6 times as large, and you'd have the library's old break room for years. When we finally have gotten rid of that. It was so nasty.
Oh, this one looks very homely compared to mine, which is generally a bit shit tip, to be honest. It gives me the vibe sometimes, to be honest, of like when I was living in shared accommodation as a student. It's just, but yeah, the thing I love about this, particularly after everything that's happened, just by its kind of sheer everyday banality, it seems like almost the most bizarre space we've been in yet.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We're getting so much from this movie. It is so great. Because eventually she makes her way to this like garden area. This what do you call it? A greenhouse type of space where she's like around all these plants, and everything is so strange to her because she's lived in this sterile environment forever. Yeah, she's kind of almost, how she's walking, she looks a bit, I don't know if she's a bit chilly or she's kind of a bit fearful of it, because it's like everything has been so just dead by comparison. Now all this stuff's like surrounding her. The world is beautiful. But she gets outside and goes wandering. So this is when we see Barry. This movie too much. So just before she gets out there, it's just like a little scene, but before she goes out, I love just like how this whole movie flows, shot to shot, scene to scene, but this like bit before she gets out is a case in point, where he just does this weird thing where like she's looking, she's in the basement or whatever, and the shot fades like a few times in a row, like they kind of truncate the sequence. She's like looking around, and it's like, who else would think to do something like that? It's just so unusual, but like perfect, Yeah, it's like she's coming down off of all the drugs. Like as she's emerging from this place, she's finally free of the influence of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Barry's hunting her. He's got his beautiful tracking device looking for her. And of course, we probably haven't even talked about his car, his amazing car, futuristic looking vehicle that he drives. Like it's sort of like a less ugly DeLorean kind of a looking car. Like they don't have a bunch of weird pipes or like extra useless outside of the engine parts, but it's just a very stylish car.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely looks very like 1983, doesn't it?
Look at any cool 80s music video where where there's like someone jumping in a futuristic car and going for a drive,
Yeah, exactly. I say like 83, but like their vision of the future of like,
exactly.
The future is now in our cars.
Yeah, retro futurism.
Yeah, there you go.
Love that stuff. Leetta likes that stuff. She gets outside and it's just so beautiful because your eyes have been trained to a certain palette.
Yeah.
The whole movie, and now we're seeing like the world and the natural world as she's out in the woods and the sky and everything's it's so great.
Oh yeah, just everything's just like very, very blue, but just in the best way possible. And she's just so much of these bits, these latter sequences with her are just like borderline transcendent, really, just how just like heart-achingly beautiful they are. But there's like, and again, I just can't believe, is it Eva Bourne, is it? She's, credited as Eva Allen. I think this was her first movie. Just how much she communicates without, even when she's not saying anything. And, like the kind of look on her face when she's walking through the mud, again, after just all this dead sterility she's been living in for years is just so wonderful.
Yeah, it reminded me of the big climax of Phenomena when Jennifer is swimming and washing all the gore off of herself in the frickin' the lake at the end.
Totally, yeah. I think one of the last times I watched this, I watched Phenomena the day after, and there's some overlap, and also the end of I think I shared on Facebook, didn't I? There was like a comparison image, of like there's a bit where she's like lying down in the grass in this, with the end of Opera.
Oh yeah, that's right, you did. That's brilliant. Post that in the nice ties. Hey.
Why not? Oh yeah, I could even say somebody said both these films are jolly.
Exactly. Everything's a giallo. We get two dudes. We get listed in the credits as heshers.
Yeah.
Which is a very funny term. Apparently it's just like a derogatory term for like white trash metalheads.
Oh, right, yeah.
I've still never like looked up what hesher means. Oh,
yeah. It's just a
you know what?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's use the internet.
Oh, balls to Wiktionary. Let's look on the Urban Dictionary.
That's where we're going. We're going to need all the marijuana slang. Let's see. Hesher.
Because I wondered because it looks like, they're having some beers, but it looks like they're smoking hash out of like beer cans.
Hesher can generally be described as a grungy, long-haired person with a still stuck in the 80s image. Yep. 80s rock t-shirts and acid wash jeans. Yep, there you go. We got heshers.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it wasn't a horrible racial slur. Yay! But we get a guy we've seen before. Like, we got this dude. The quote-unquote fat hesher is Chris Gauthier.
All right.
We have seen him in Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, right.
And I've seen him a bunch of times in Watchmen.
Watchmen, yeah. Because
I don't want to offend anybody, but that Watchmen movie, I like it.
I haven't seen it for a long time. I had mixed feelings about it, but yeah.
Well, people don't have mixed feelings about it. People fucking hate that movie. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digest.
Oh, yeah, we've gone on enough tangentials already, I think.
But yeah, this dude, I can't believe 96 credits. This guy has been in everything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, shit, Harper's Island again.
Actor.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Harper's Island again.
Oh, that's right. Oh, my God. I'm so dumb. Yes.
That's the first time I ever saw him.
Ah.
After I saw him in something else. God damn it. Anyway. Skinny Hesher is played by Jerry South. I don't care, because he's skinny. I only like my big boys. Burgeoning character actor, too. He's got 28 credits. Who knows? By the time the pandemic's over, he might have like 100. Who knows?
He was tree trimmer number 2 in Deadpool 2.
I'm going to look for him now. That's amazing. Oh boy, but yeah, so these guys are partying and rocking, and they're having this conversation where the fat Hesher thinks he's gonna hook up with this girl, and I believe the skinny one's like, "Nah, I already banged that chick" or something.
Yeah, it's kind of, oh god, and just generally all of this is one of these, and I'm sure we've, probably had like relationships like this or friendships. I say loosely, you look and you think, how the fuck and why the fuck are these guys friends?
Yes, I've been there. Rocky, I'm looking at you. He's one of those people that just straight up told me like one day that he fucking hates my guts. And I'm like, well, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Get the fuck. And then we never hung out again. It was great. It was the best thing that ever happened to me was he finally admitted he didn't like me. It's awesome. What a prick. The skinny guy goes to pee and Barry finds him. and Barry murders him immediately. And then the poor fat guy, he goes after him.
Yeah.
And folks, he is literally called Fat Hesher. Okay, I'm not like making that up. That's literally his name. Also, I'm fat, so leave us alone. Barry accuses him of raping her? Of raping Helena?
Yeah, I mean, you wonder if he's overheard their conversation they're talking about, and that he's just kind of he's misconstrued it that Elena's like the only girl in the world or something, or that he figures she's in proximity, and maybe I don't know at this point is she passed out or whatever. She got to sleep in the grass already.
This is like his worst nightmare come to life. Yeah, of what would happen to her if she got out, because he warned her that she shouldn't go out because the world is in chaos and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would say if these are the only two people you run into, yes, the world's in utter chaos. But I love the aesthetic of their tape deck. I mean, their boombox playing some random rockin' tunes.
I looked this up. Is this because there's only 3 songs listed in this. There's one which we'll get to played on the end credits. I'm guessing this is Angel Dust by Venom. And then there's another track.
Oh my god, that was Venom?
Apparently, I'm guessing because the third track here, which I don't know what this is, I meant to look it up before recording, but I just ran out of time. It's something called Inside Out Flower by somebody called Kicking Giant.
Wow.
Which rings no bells to me. Sorry, backtracking this so slightly, I guess, but also going forward a bit, there's a couple of bits in this movie, but especially a lot of scenes. Like you with nighttime pull scenes and seances, I fucking love like driving scenes in movies, especially ones at night. And God, this has to be one of my favorites. It's just so
this is like
fucking
porn for Simon.
It is, yeah. Especially, I think I get the chronology a bit mixed up because there's some great bits where Elena's like outside, she's looking at the stars, and you see what are like supernovas and stuff, and then again all the dissolves and like transitions in this film because you see like Barry driving, and then it looks like he's like driving out into the stars or something,
man,
and like
it is just this movie. Oh my god. So he kills the fat Hesher. I never really thought about how he found Elena sleeping, because she just lays down on the ground and is overwhelmed by all of her experience, just starts to fall asleep. Then he finds her, and he's always just been watching her sleep the whole time. It didn't even occur to me the last time. I was like, whoa, that's messed up.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's our big showdown where he's going to display his sweet knife powers and how he's like really wily and like freaking agile. He does a bunch of parkour and shit. And she's using her freaking psychic powers. Like she's like Psylocke. She's got like a psychic knife and she's swinging it and she's shooting freaking psychic lasers out of her eyes. And then she has this fucking like psychic boots that she jumps, and like he's slashing at her, and she's jumping out of the way and like jumping over him, and then she digs underground and comes out and grabs his legs and flings him around with her psychic powers. What happens is
you forgot
Barry
one bit.
confronts her. Yeah. Barry confronts her and falls down and kills himself on a rock. He gets his pant leg stuck on a twig and then falls and cracks his head open.
I was going to say, sorry, you forgot one tiny bit there in the psychic showdown when she calls her insect friends.
We worship you. We worship you. Thank you. Sorry, I got a little carried away there.
No, it's perfect.
Oh my god, dude, so never one to do what people expect. Panos is like, all right, let's do this showdown. No, I got a better idea. Let's totally steal that from the audience and have Barry's just as unfit for life as his frickin' subject is, and he just manages to die. And it's not even a bloody death. He just dies and he's done.
It's pathetic, but in the most perfect way possible, you know, for just ending this character arc, really. And, there's a couple of bits here because we got to do a whole thing about Mandy at some point, of course. Oh, in one of the driving bits, did you see that bit where his kind of past, you know, before he's like de-wigged and de-contact lensed himself, he looks over and he sees like himself in the passenger seat, giving himself a thumbs up,
You're doing great.
Sort of totally calling forward to Mandy, of course. And again, like that. And this is something, I think less with this movie, maybe more with Mandy, where, and I think we even talked about this, where it feels potentially, you know, without giving anything away, kind of potentially anticlimactic. But again, the more I watch it, just, you know, both characters are the same, and like the demise is just kind of pathetic, really. But again, just completely spot on, you know, for the people that they are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I like that. We also didn't mention we get to see what's inside the Ascension Knots.
Oh God, yeah,
when
yeah.
the Ascension
Again,
Knot takes off its helmet, and you see what's inside. It's this child, like a girl child, and it's just blind and unseeing, and it's like a shell that they use. So more people that they've failed as experiments here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just so much. I can't believe we forgot that, but I can. Again, there's so much. But that's another, we're talking about iconic images from this film. I think just instantly just imprints itself on your brain.
I love it. So then, after he's dead, Elena wanders off, finally gets to the edge of the woods and gets to a road. And then we get this amazing, like, track houses, like, what do you call it? Like, suburban townhouses and condos and shit. And it's one of the creepiest shots in the movie.
Yeah.
Because you think about how bad her life has been, but oh no, suburbia? It can get worse. But my favorite thing, which is what made me love this movie, I was into this movie. I bought it sight unseen. You know, obviously I'd seen, you know, like promotional stills and stuff.
Yeah.
But what killed me with this, what made this like over the top, is she's walking towards this condo and you see someone's up late watching TV. It's the only light on in all these condos. So you get that flickering light coming from this. And it's a matte painting, which of course you got me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a lover of all things Mario Bava. I'm glad that they were able to resurrect him just long enough to paint this backdrop here. And as she's walking towards it, there's one person watching TV. I have a theory about who's watching TV in that room, Simon.
Oh, okay.
You.
Huh.
The viewer. She's about to make a connection with the real world. She has found you, the viewer, watching the film late at night.
Holy shit. Oh, man.
You're welcome.
I fucking love that. As if I couldn't love this movie, you know, more already. Of course I can.
That just popped into my head the first viewing as I was watching it, obviously late at night. I'm like, dude, she's out the window. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, fuck. Man. Love it.
Then we got our credits, and I finally watched till the end of the credits, finally.
Oh, right, yeah. This got me. Every single time that I watched the film, I forgot about it until, I think, last night.
Yep. So at the end of we get the end credits, and for a split second, we see a shot of one of the one of the sensual knots laying on the carpet, except it's a toy.
Yeah.
It's just a little figure, like a little toy, laying on some shag carpet, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute, was any of this real? Did any of this happen? Was this all in someone's mind? Like, love you, Panos.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
That's
the whole movie, folks. That's the whole. I mean, less the stuff we skipped. I know Simon has 1,000-page notes.
I think I got through most of it. Yeah. I can back up slightly. Before that, what did you think of the tune on the end credits?
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. That's is that the
Anonymous?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
By SSQ.
Yeah, but SSQ,
beautiful
I
song.
love it. It's like a synth pop banger. Yeah, it's that's great. Talking about the end, one of the things I know people had a problem with at the end, like I read one comment, somebody was saying, "Oh yeah, you should watch this movie, but like not watch the last 20 minutes because that's where it becomes normal or something." You know, like all the slasher stuff. It's like, well, one, I don't fully agree with that, and two, the fact there's like a mini slasher movie, the last like 5 minutes in it, that makes me love it even more.
Well, hey, a movie has to go somewhere.
Well, yeah,
and every you can have like imperfect things, like Just because a movie doesn't go the direction you don't want doesn't mean it's bad.
Oh, no. And again, speaking of the ending, like, I think when I first watched it, because that was one, speaking of things not going the way you, I won't say want or anything, it's more expect. And I think I read someone from Panos saying this when he'd first made it and he saw it. He said, I wasn't even sure what I'd made. All I knew was I did what I wanted to do. And that just is perfect because, again, there were parts of this. So I was saying this after me in late verse, I had my first viewing. Like I say, I think it's his second. There were so many bits where I just was like, scene to scene, it's like I have no idea where this movie's going to go and what's going to happen next, and I fucking love it. But the end, I like felt when that final shot, I was like, oh no, don't let this be the end. But this is clearly the end. This is obviously the end in it, and it was just perfect. I only say don't let it be the end because I wanted more, of course, but I knew coming up to even first viewing, it's like, yeah, this is obviously the end. But to other people, again, it would feel like the complete lack of an ending.
Right.
But no, it's just perfect. And especially what you said, man, that just it makes me want to go and watch it again right now.
Yeah, this is something else. I mean, obviously, folks, we did a little extra deep dive into this, and we're not done yet. I mean, we still have some shit to say. Like, the thing that I really love is this idea of like this degeneration. God bless America. The degeneration of self.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, like, I'm a big wimp when it comes to drugs. I didn't even try anything like ancient thunder lettuce until I was 30.
Interesting.
I can still count how many times I've had the purple sticky punch on my hands and my toes. Like, I really haven't. I mean, I have a lot of extra digits.
Yeah.
And obviously I sound like I've been smoking a bong all day, this coughing fit. But no, I really have barely done any drugs because I've always been really terrified of going insane. So these movies like Blue Sunshine and this kind of stuff like plays right into my biggest fears of like, opening a door I can't close.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I mean, it's something I, kind of, without getting into too much here, kind of have the opposite experience where, especially like early years, kind of really, I mean, everybody's different. Some people probably made me look like an underachiever in this sense.
Right.
But relative to you, it sounds like, I was like kind of pushing the pedal to the metal with some of these things. It's certainly not everything. And like certain things, it's like, it's a long time ago now, but I mean, God, in this country, you could up until maybe the mid to late 2000s, you could go into a head shop, and like buy magic mushrooms, no problem.
Damn.
The only caveat to that was that you couldn't prepare them. Like if they dried out even in your pocket and you got busted, you'd kind of be a bit screwed because it's like you dry them,
loophole.
it makes them like 10 times stronger or whatever. But I did dabble a bit, but I quickly was taught, with those especially to, treat them with respect because they are not recreational, they are not toys. And you turn in like the key of a very, very heavy door there, that you've got to be careful when you throw it open, what might come through it, know. And I will say again, without, given my whole life story here, even any challenging experiences that I had with them or, bad, however you want to describe it, they were always constructive. They always tell you what you need to know, but they will, like a friend with tough love, they will kick your ass, and then if you mess around with them. So and I think Panos as well, I listened to some interviews with him where I think he's probably like completely straight edge now. I know one of the things of this movie, the genesis of it was, losing both his parents, his mother first. And he said he didn't really deal with the grief from that and just drifted into kind of binge drinking and the rest of it. And then his father died and he realized, I really do need to deal with this. And also kind of looking ahead to, he knew he wanted to make a movie before he was 40. Otherwise he thought he was just going to like lose his mind or something. So I guess he probably stopped drinking. And I think he even, he used to be a, like hanging out with Sam, wearing his green sweater a lot.
Yes.
I don't think he does that anymore because he's talking about, forget what film he was watching, but he said one of the last times he had edibles, he said, I was sitting there, I felt like I was being attacked by wraiths or something. It's like, oh my God.
Oh boy. Yeah. You got to be careful of those too, I've heard.
Yeah, I've had the edibles once, and I definitely overdid it, and like I bet they scared me off since. Because that's like that is more like a mushroom trip or something. It's like really intense.
My my stepdad has got the we call him Space Dad. He had to have some edibles for his therapy that he was doing for some medical issues.
Interesting.
He got ragingly fucked up. like they're like, oh, I don't. He was like, oh, I don't feel anything. This is fine. I'm great. Give me the whole thing. And then 40 minutes later, he can't move. Like he's just saying insane shit, like weirder and weirder shit. And he won't get off the chair, and everyone's terrified. He's lost his mind.
That is exactly what I did because they take so long to digest. You're like, fuck it, I'll have more. And then 2 hours later, you're just lying paralyzed, looking at the ceiling.
Hell, you can do that with regular smoking. You
exactly.
Get this ain't doing shit. Let's keep smoking. And then an hour later, you're like, that was a mistake.
Oh yeah, exactly. I've been such a slow learner with that. It's only really in the last year or so I've finally got it in, some semblance of balance. God, this really is turned into complete autobiography. But fuck it, we're invested now. Told people too much already. This last thing I'll say. Yeah, I used to be like an everyday smoker. Now it's like a couple of times a week of that. When I'm watching a movie, and I pretty much always now I drink. I have a couple of beers first because now if I don't otherwise, it just makes me completely paranoid and anxious. I kind of need to take the edge off first,
The only time I got paranoid was when I used to smoke at our old apartment, and the most paranoid I got was, oh shit, if my neighbors smell this, they're gonna want to take my weed. They're gonna want to smoke with me, and I hate people.
Oh, I've been there.
That was the only paranoid I ever had from it.
Brilliant.
I'll tell my best story is where I was smoking with Sam. I was actually smoking Sam with Sam.
Ooh.
And I was completely wrecked. And we were watching House by the Cemetery.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And about 30 minutes in, I'm like, I'm inside the movie though. I'm inside the movie, man. And I turned to Sam like, hey, guess what? And he's like, what? I'm like, I'm inside the movie. And he's like, okay, buddy, you're a fucking idiot. He was like, is this the first time you smoked? It was great. All of this stuff is so good. I can't wait to see what this guy's going to do next. And we will talk about Mandy on an episode one day to push everybody else away that was annoyed that we are praising. God help us. He's just, Panos Cosmatos, he's one of those directors. He tries too hard. He a lot of his stuff, it's just meh. A lot of his stuff, it's just oof. Yeah, just oof when I see this stuff. Oof.
Things that make you go oof. Oh.
Which that was my first concert. I saw CNC Music Factory. Things that make you go oof. That was the biggest oof, was seeing CNC Music Factory. And actually believing that lady, that was her real voice.
Oh my God.
I never knew that wasn't her real voice until years later. Oh my God. Great.
Before I forget, a couple of MVPs, more MVPs of this movie.
Yes.
Mention the cinematographer in a minute, but one of the people who's mentioned actually before the cast on the end credits is the sound designer, somebody called Eric Paul. And aside from Jeremy Schmidt and his amazing music, the sound design again in this is just editing and all is just fucking pitch perfect throughout. And finally, who's this cinematographer? Or what else has he done? I think somebody called Norm Lee.
Yeah.
Who he said, and thank God they did this. I was thinking, the Blu-ray looks amazing already. I would kill to when, I do get a 4K player to see this get a 4K UHD, because I bet it would look fucking jaw-dropping.
Oh, I bet.
But yeah, they shot it on 35mm film. I think they said it was a kind of modified 2perf 2. I don't really know a lot about the technical and photochemical aspects of these things, but they said they did that. They modified it so they could get more out of the reel, basically. Again, for just shooting a film, a low budget film on 35mm. I mean, that's bold to begin with. They wanted to do it for Mandy, but the insurers wouldn't let them do it. They said, no, you can't shoot on that. The completion guarantors or whatever, the insurance people.
Oh, no.
So that's why for that, again, without getting ahead too much, they added a lot of the grain digitally. So, yeah, he comes up a lot. This guy's a camera operator. I don't know whether he's done much else as a cinematographer. 34 credits. He's got a good few shorts. Nothing I really recognize.
He really is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
He did a movie with a great title. The Body Remembers When the World Broke Open.
Ooh. Yeah, it's an intriguing poster as well.
I'll watch that. Why not? Sounds depressing. Some of the things you talked about were the influences. And good old Wikipedia's got a little list of some of the influences here. We got the aforementioned Dark Star. We got The Keep. Michael Mann's Manhunter, with the color scheme, of course. George Lucas's THX 1138, which is one of those movies I can't believe I've seen. I rented that when I was so young. I can't believe I've seen that shit.
I'm going to have to make a note to watch that this year. That's from 1971, so be 50 years old this year. I've seen a couple of sequences from it when I was doing my film degree. We did one of our exams. We had to watch a part of that and write about it. So yeah, that's the only bit I've seen.
Hopefully you can watch the untouched George Lucas version, because I think that was one of the other films that he went back and fixed a bunch of stuff on.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. There's a couple of interviews with Panos I'd recommend. There's one off the Visitations podcast with the guys from Spectravision, Elijah Wood and Daniel Noah, I think.
Yes, where they speak. I forgot I listened to that. Thank you. I'm going to re-listen to that.
Yeah, it's really good. That, and also he did an episode of, I think it's called The Movies That Made Me, from Trailers from Hell, Joe Dante and Josh Olson, where Panos comes on to talk about his favourite, I'm going to see if I get this right, futuristic fascist police state movies, and THX is one that comes up, and I think he says about it that he actually liked some of the things that were added in that, and it doesn't bother him. So I'm interested to see both versions. Yeah.
Nice. The aforementioned 2001: A Space Odyssey, Clockwork Orange, Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris, a movie I've been wanting to rewatch for years, and it keeps eluding me. Altered States.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Damn, I don't know what it is about that movie. I saw it when I was a kid, and it was, very confusing. But I remember enjoying and being really taken by it. He also lists Gaspar Noé's Enter the Void, and he mentions Daft Punk's Electroma.
I thought of Daft Punk a bit with Ascension Knots, actually.
Yeah. I need to watch that.
Yeah, me too. I think I might have seen parts of it. I know my friend Mike, he's a big Daft Punk fan. He might have shown me that. I forget. Or parts.
Nice. He says the acid flashback was partly inspired by Begotten from 1990.
Yeah, have you seen that? I'm really been intrigued to see that for years. It looks amazing.
It's something. It's one of a kind. And also Jean-Luc Godard's Contempt, which I've not seen.
No, me neither.
I've seen very little of Godard. God, what have I seen of good old Godard?
I really like Alphaville. I've not seen it for a long time. And was it Weekend as well? I think I saw once. That was really interesting.
Weekend is the only one of his movies. I'm double checking, I think. Yeah, I've only seen Weekend. Well, if you're going to see one, I guess that's a good one to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I remember bits of it, but it was pretty wild. And so what else do you say? Oh, yeah, the other visual media like Heavy Metal Magazine and The Art of Moebius, how you pronounce it, and Frank Frazetta's painting. I think he's come up before in our episode on the church, which this is probably going to start to rival the length of that, looking at it.
That's fine. People know how we do, which is we do it. What? So the last thing we need to talk about, of course, is a good old my brother, Mr. Schmidt, Jeremy Schmidt, no relation to Richard Glenn Shit. I actually had to legally change. I took the M out of my name, so I'm Richard Glenn Shit now. But he is a keyboard player for a band called Black Mountain, which I need to investigate more Black Mountain stuff.
Yeah, I listened to a couple of tracks, watched a couple of videos, and it was all right.
It's all right. But his solo stuff for this is just, it's one of my favorite music scores. I love this score so much. It's just like, oh my God. Yeah, I think, dude, does that do it? Did we do it?
Yeah, I mean, God, we could go on, of course.
Of course, the baby boomer criticism is part of the wiki too. I managed to find that on my own, but here's, he did have issues with the occultism and the flower child stuff and all that. That's the stuff that that's what I was talking about. He and I are on the same page, and here he is famous, and I'm a big famous guy too, for nothing.
He did say in one of the interviews I was looking at before, him and the guy who's interviewing him were kind of getting at the baby boomers for saying, well, yeah, they criticize us enough for something, so, there you go. hence the movie.
Exactly.
So I'm paraphrasing, but
yep.
I pasted a few things before from a few interviews. I'll just see if there's anything jumping out here. So one thing he's asking about the music. It's from something called Filmmaker Magazine. He's asked, says, one thing I was intrigued by at the Tribeca Q&A was your statement that you think of the film as a 70s electronic music album. So scored by Sonoya K is one you started with before you shot the film, or did it come later? And saying, yeah, he's a fan of the band. But he was friends, I think, with Jeremy Schmidt's girlfriend. She read the script and passed on some of his music. Because I think that other Sonoya Cave's album, I think that's from 2006? Is it The Enchanted Persuaded? Which the last track from that is called Evil Ball, I think, was used on the trailer, I think.
Ah, okay.
If memory serves. And also he used it because, Jeremy only came in, I think, when they were in post-production, so there's probably a rough cut and he played part of that. And also, I think it's probably influenced the 1966, the New Age of Enlightenment. Probably the longest track on it, over the flashback scene. He said they were using Pink Floyd track, Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, that's it, as a temp track for that, I think. I was saying, he tends to write, as he's said a lot of people do, a soundtrack playlist when he's writing, and I found this interesting. I've not played this game in years, and I can't remember the soundtrack. He said he listened to a lot of music from Half-Life 2.
Whoa.
Yeah, which I find interesting, but that kind of kind of makes sense. I have to look that up.
I'm so bad about video games. I'm like, I know that's a game.
That was one of the, I used to be, as I've said before, really, really massively into video games. That was one of the last ones I actually played kind of obsessively before I kind of, was getting more into other things.
Composer on that was Kelly Bailey.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I might have to listen to some of that. So I'm intrigued now. He said something like there was a sound on it he said he'd never heard before or something. So, I'd be curious to see how that's influenced this. Nice. Some stuff we've already said. Oh, he's talking about other films. One we didn't mention, I've only seen once. I really want to rewatch this. The Saul Bass film, Phase 4.
Oh, yeah. That's another one I rented. I don't remember anything about. I saw it as a kid.
Yeah, I think there's a company brought out on Blu-ray over here. It has a new ending now, which is apparently meant to be even better and kind of more, doomy and apocalyptic. So I really want to see that. Cool. So, just a little bit more. So there was a director's statement apparently, I think from Tribeca, I'm guessing this was a premiere that somebody put in one of these interviews. So I'll just read it out from good old Panos. He says, I wasn't allowed to watch R-rated films when I was a kid, but when we go to the video store in the corner and mom and pop shop called Video Attic, I'd obsessively look at all the horror movie videotapes. I was mesmerised by the lurid box covers and the vivid descriptions on the back, so I'd imagine in great detail my own versions of these movies without ever having seen them. That was one of the key inspirations for the film, the idea of making one of those imagined movies. The mood of the film is my memory of how the late 70s and early 80s felt to me, both the reality and the fantasy world of the pop culture I would immerse myself in. I think in making it I was trying to grasp something intangible. It's a nostalgic movie, but it's a poison nostalgia. And the interviewer picks up on this, says you call it a poison nostalgia in the press notes, and he says nostalgia by definition is looking through the past through rose-coloured glasses, so this is looking through the past through more of an acerbic lens. So
nice.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. And that's all I got.
That's a funny coincidence. I was reading Charles L. Grant, a fiction writer I really like a lot. And his intro to one of his books was talking about nostalgia just last night. It's weird.
Oh, cool.
Call that a Simonicity.
Barn.
Well, man, we did it. Let's stop. Folks, thank you so much for going on this journey with us. If you made it to the end, we actually managed to do one longer than the movie.
I was just going to say, so that means now, what was it? Don't Open Till Christmas and one or two others. I can use this now if I want as a commentary for the film. As I've
See? Look at you.
Doing,
folks.
So, brilliant.
I need to try this. Watch the film and throw on one of our episodes. Maybe the one that is the movie you're watching.
Yeah, you could mix it up.
Don't listen to us talk about the church while you're watching 50 First Dates or something. But I mean, maybe.
Exactly.
Maybe do that. Listen to our episode on 50 First Dates.
Or watching, I don't know what. But yeah, they're going to say the one for Dope Until Christmas was perfect. So I think they were pretty much exactly the same length within a minute. But
nice.
One last thing, did we say, I think it's probably become apparent already, did we say how we feel about this film? Do we need to tell people how we really feel?
Fuck this movie and fuck you for asking. I'll hint that I love it very much, and I look forward to revisiting it. Yeah, like I said, you will watch it 17 more times before I pull it out again. Before I whip this one out. How do you feel about Beyond the Black Rainbow?
Well, as I said to Lee, after we first watched, and if he listens to this, he's going to be laughing now because I remember I just started ranting and raving, and he was like, "Oh, so you liked it then?" And he's like, "Yeah, just a bit." And after my second viewing, I said, possibly to you, maybe some of the people already, I think, this might be my favourite film of like the past decade.
Wow. Very nice.
I've been watching Mandy again, and I was like, are they tied for me? But no, I think, I love Mandy. I really do. And between the two films, there's pretty much nobody apart from, say, like David Lynch, who I'm kind of more chomping at the bit to see what they do next.
Yeah.
But no, this next, I think, any films Lynch has done, in this century, I think is pretty much, my favourite film of like, definitely the last 10 years, maybe the last, like century so far. There's nothing else which has just kind of fucking blown my mind and just kind of hit me this deep, really.
Awesome. Well, the thing is, you're wrong, because this guy, he's trying too hard, and it's this movie, I watched it, and it's kind of meh.
Oof.
I told you Brad forced me to stop doing that to him, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
He sent me a song, and it was really good, and I just jokingly was like, it's kind of meh. It was oof. And of course, I went on to say it was an amazing song, but he's like, yeah, you need to stop doing that. And I was like, XD, LOL, BRB, LMFAO, brother.
Rufflecopter.
Oh, thank you for bringing that back into my life. Oh, boy. Folks, bye. For real this time.
Hello.
Hi, let's start over.
Hello, This is the Doom Show is a proud member of the Legion Podcast Network. Please check out the other podcasts on legionpodcasts.com. If you'd like more Hello, This is the Doom Show, go to hellodoomshow.podomatic.com or go to doomedmoviethon.com for the archives. If that's still not enough, go to @doomedmoviethon on Twitter.